Good evening, it's already 7:40 p.m. in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. This is Today. Today we have invited very interesting guest who has many kind of talents. He's a model, actor, creative director and producer based in New York. More importantly, he's a special envoy for the development of Mongolia to the International Human Rights Commission. Let's welcome Mr. Jared Cameron.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank
you for receiving our invitation.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So from many things you are, as an actor, producer, creative director, where does your passion lie on these days? Has it shifted?
I don't know if it's shifted. I think it's grown. You know, the more experience I get, the more I learn. I have a hunger to do more, to try to achieve the impossible. I like to innovate, and I like to look where people are not looking. If someone's looking that way, I like to look this way and say, where can we go? And my goal is usually to just inform people, to teach people, and to also inspire.
Right. So when we talked about, you mentioned about the project Stroke.
Yes.
Tell us about it, because it looks very interesting.
Yeah.
From scientific point, creative point.
It's very interesting. So Stroke is a virtual reality experience, and it was put together by our team of neuroscientists and creatives. There's a team of about 5 of us, main team of 5, and basically the story comes from my wife's cousin. When he was younger, in Mongolia, he had a stroke as a child, and when I heard this story, it really touched me, and I wanted to look deeper into it. So when I did, I realized that this was a story that I definitely wanted to tell in some shape, way, or form. And when our team actually found out about virtual reality back in 2014, we saw that there was a huge capacity of storytelling, but also to be able to put the viewer in the shoes of the story that you're trying to tell, and to show the story in a different way.
So it's a story of a man who had stroke.
A child who had a stroke, yes, in Mongolia, based in Mongolia. So what we wanted to do was to have an emotionally engaging story and an awe-inspiring story. And with virtual reality, you're able to do that. I don't know if you're familiar with the virtual reality industry, but right now it's being estimated to be evaluated at about $100 billion. That's what they're looking at. That's what they're projecting in the future. And so with this capacity, we wanted to really use the tech age and combine storytelling in a new original form. And so that's what we're doing here with this.
So if you want to watch the project, you're going to need those gadgets?
There are different means and different access to virtual reality. The best and most efficient cost is the, I guess, Google Cardboard right now. That's $5 American. So that would be something probably to start with here in Mongolia. But then you also have the HTC Vive and other things like that. And actually, a very interesting point is that Mongolia has the highest burden of stroke in the world. I don't know if you know that, but that was also very interesting to me. And that's why I felt like this was a story that we really needed to tell.
Are they going to shoot in Mongolia?
Exactly,
obviously.
yes. So,
when are you planning to shoot it in here?
We haven't set any dates yet. I'm actually here now, seeing some of the landscapes and talking to some of the people and some of the scientists and health representatives here, so we can get a little more information. But Mongolia is actually a central character in this story. So we are actually going to shoot part of the story here to be the most authentic as we can. And to actually have the awe-inspiring aspect of that film, we needed to be here. There's such a diverse variety of landscapes here that we wanted to definitely include into the film.
And neuroscience, where does it go?
So
from that perspective,
basically stroke, well, we have a company called Neurostorm Studios based in New York City. And so we do these projects in 2 stages, early stage and late stage. Me particularly, I am involved in mostly the early stage, and that's more about the development, concept development, the script, the story, and basically that's what I really focus on because of my history. I don't have a history in science and neurosciences, and I let the rest of the team take care of that. But we also wanted to be medically accurate, and so to do that, we needed to have these neuroscientists a part of it to make sure that we were on point.
Right. So let's talk about you. You are in connection with Mongolian people for the last what?
5 years.
5 years,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
you have Mongolian wife.
Yes, my wife
You are
know me,
Mongolian
yes.
Kurgan.
Yes, yes.
You know the word Kurgan?
No, I've heard of it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I haven't heard the translation yet.
It's a son-in-law.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
this
so,
is true. Yeah.
in Mongolian.
Yeah. Well, the beautiful thing about that is that you're not really considered in-law, you know? Once you come, you're family. You're
family.
considered
Yeah, yeah,
blood.
yeah.
And that's what I really like, you know? And the Western side, it's a little bit different. It's very
Yeah,
technical
when
terms.
it's translated,
Yeah.
son-in-law, but Kurgan is a part of family.
Yeah, yeah, and I love it.
Inseparable part
Yeah,
of it.
and they're very welcoming too, and I see the characteristic in the rest of Mongolia as well, and the people that I've met here.
So what strikes you about Mongolian people when you meet with Mongolian people? What's the difference? I mean, you know,
That's a great
culturally,
question. Yes.
culturally.
Well, as people, as individuals, very prideful, very welcoming, very hospitable, very hospitable. They take you in the moment you get here, and they make sure that you don't want for anything, and that's really heartwarming, you know, to come from a place as New York City where it's just go, 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 and it seems like everybody has a goal that they're worried about, and that's it. But here, as soon as you get here, it seems like the focus is on taking care of you, and I like that. You know, it feels good to be here, to be welcomed in that way. And actually, the fashion too. I'm involved in fashion in New York City, so one of the things that I really love about Mongolian culture is the fashion. I think the fabrics are top notch from what I've seen around the world, and I'm in love with the silks and just the colors. The colors just seem so just elegant and they pop. And you know, they don't just have blue, green, red, yellow. They have everything in between.
In between.
Yes, it's so amazing.
Right. And it's your first time in Ulaanbaatar, in Mongolia especially.
Yes.
What's the difference between your expectation and reality? Is there a big difference?
You know, I didn't really have an expectation except from the photos I saw. You know, everything just looks beautiful, and it just looks like a place where you can really live and get in touch with who you really are. And I think that that's also a part of my goal here. I'm actually going to be visiting the countryside, and I want to take a time out and get back in touch with who I am and kind of quiet the noise a little bit.
Right. Especially because you're from New York.
Exactly.
It's
so it's
noisy,
very loud.
it's fast city, and then here on the contrast. Right.
Yeah, born and raised there. So this is a welcomed and grateful opportunity that I had to take.
So, well, let's get a little official.
Okay.
Envoy for the Development of Mongolia at International Human Rights Commission.
Yes.
Well, tell us about it. Tell our audience about it.
Okay.
You're a very special person for Mongolians now.
Yeah, you know, so my wife is Mongolian, Naomi, and she was actually working with the International Human Rights Commission before me. She is the ambassador for women's empowerment and peace to the International Human Rights Commission. Right. So the chief of the organization, Mr. Khan, he came to New York City for some of the United Nations conferences that were going on. And my wife and I, we were involved in the conferences, very involved in the UN before we met him. But when he came in, I wanted to take the opportunity to meet with him as well, just to thank him for having my wife in the organization. In that meeting, I guess my passion for Mongolia stood out, and they actually created this position for me because I wanted to do something, but I wasn't really sure what platform I could use, what the issues are, where I could go with it. Once I was given that opportunity to hold that title, it was just like a light turned on, and I went full force, full steam ahead, and I just started researching everything I could about Mongolia. And when I started hearing about some of the issues that I believe are solvable, I had to jump in and just go.
How long has it been since you get the position?
It's probably a little more over a year now.
Over a year, yeah. So you've done lots of study about Mongolia.
Yeah. And I'm glad to be here now because I can actually get my feet on the ground and see for myself in a more applicable way. Yes.
Right. So how about your first step as envoy?
My first step. So the thing that stands out to me most.
And your main concern.
Yes, my main concern. I believe that the air pollution is probably the most solvable thing right now out of a lot of things that I've seen.
Most solvable.
Yes, and I say that because we know that 80% of the pollution comes from the Gir districts.
Right.
So if you know where the problem is, you can pinpoint it and you can create some sort of solution to assist in getting rid of it. And so I've been meeting with a lot of different experts and specialists about this to see what they think outside of Mongolia and inside of Mongolia. And of course, there's a lot of different aspects. But I think I'm more interested in bringing some technology to Mongolia and getting the conversation going in a specific direction instead
scientific direction. You're
all
talking
over
about,
the place.
When the technology comes, there's always science.
Yes, yes, definitely. So we're talking, you know, anything from solar or wind power to helping, you know, decrease the usage of burning the coal. We're talking about bringing new modern stoves so that you don't have to use coal and you have better filtration systems so that you're not creating that smoke that just sits and, you know, builds up over time as it has.
Renewable energy. So,
Renewable. That's the future.
That's the
And when we
future.
talk about Mongolia, you know, we're talking about sustainability. We're talking about people that an empire of people that used to work together so strongly and with a common goal, and now that we have another issue, we have to do it again. And so, you know, myself as an outside perspective, I want to just come in and encourage and inspire and motivate and get that fire going in a certain direction that we can all agree on somewhere to go, and then just go full steam
from your
ahead.
creative experience.
Yes, yes.
Right, right. So I heard about you. I heard that you are working on a book.
I am.
Yes.
I am. Yes.
And
Yeah.
what's that book about?
So I do have a writing background. Ever since I was young, I had a passion for writing scripts, poetry, anything that popped into my head, ideas. As soon as I get an idea, I have to put it down. Partially probably because my memory is not so great sometimes. So I use it as a practice to memorize, and I learned when I write more, I memorize more for some reason. So right now, what I'm doing is the first book I'm working on. This is my first book. I wanted to introduce myself to the market as an author first, and so I'm doing something that's close to my heart, which is poetry. For me, I'm able to convey feeling and emotion through my writing, and I'm very grateful for that. So I'm actually teaming up with a Mongolian illustrator to bring illustrations to my book to pair it, and it's going to be
very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a very romantic story and a mix of fashion as well. So that's where the illustrations come into play.
Will they be translated to Mongolian?
You know, we were talking about that, and I think that would be a good idea. Why not? You know, we have so many platforms now. It's easy to translate.
It's
you know,
easy to
across
translate.
Amazon and all these other platforms that we have.
Yeah, and you can even hire a translator, like professional literature people.
Yes,
right?
definitely, definitely. And then that's why, and I also, you know, a part of my goals and my vision is to work with Mongolia and of course other countries down the road. But Mongolia is closest to my heart right now, of course, since my wife is from here. And so most of my projects that I can create at this time are geared towards, you know, partnership. I believe in the 17th sustainable goal, which is partnership. And so that's my purpose here.
United Nations purpose, right.
Yeah.
So you are here during the Naadam Festival. This is the prime time of the whole year.
Yes, and it was a strategic timing thing too. I figured if I wanted to be here, I was asking people, when should I go, and across the board it was Naadam, July, this is the paradise season.
Paradise season.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, why not go to paradise?
Right. Right, so what's your plan? What's your plan for Naadam?
Naadam, so we're going to see the opening. And then I'm very interested in the horse racing and the archery specifically. I love horses. I have a special heart for them.
Horse?
I haven't ridden until, well, since I was a child. I'm going to be riding again, so
This
hopefully that won't be caught on camera in the beginning. But yeah, it's going to be fun. And then archery, I've always been in love with the Robin Hood story. And maybe that's a part of what also makes me who I am, to try to give back and help. And I'm considering, if possible, maybe even increasing my archery skills. And if I'm able to compete sometime in the future, I would love to give it a shot.
Yeah, why not? Give it a shot. So you are a founder and CEO of Swagunir LLC.
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Right. Tell us about this Swagunir. And I really like the motto.
So Swagunir, I'll break down the meaning first, because everybody always wonders, is that a real word? Where does it come from? When I was creating a company, and I think this goes for any entrepreneur, you want to look for something that has meaning, something that stands out, something that really portrays the essence, the soul of the business. And the word Swagunir is a combination of two words. Swagger, which means quality work marked by elegance. And then you have unir, which is a Latin word which means to bring together, to combine, and to unite. So swagger and unir, you get Swagunir. And so as CEO and founder, my vision for this company is to, number one, be as creative and as innovative as possible, and to be able to assist society in some way moving forward. And I like to bring people together, as the name implies, because I believe together we're stronger. And that's why, you know, partnership, that's why it's really important, because you know, no man is an island, and you always need some sort of other resource or helping hand or additive to help you reach the goal. You know, we can only do so much alone, and together, like I said, we are stronger. You can move mountains when you work as a team.
So what's the project you're working on lately?
Yeah.
As a Swagunir, from the Swagunir.
There's a lot, but right now I'm actually associate producer on a film with for a motivational speaker. His name is Ra Gore, back in the States, and we took one of his first books, which was a biography. It's called 123. So we created 123, the documentary based on that book about his biography, and we are involved in a lot of other things. Of course, the book that I'm writing is going to be under that as well. And we are definitely involved in a lot of fashion. We are involved in New York Fashion Week. We like to work with IMG to bring designers and put them on the main platform, the biggest stage, I believe, in the world when it comes to fashion. Specifically, we also look into bringing Mongolian designers.
Yeah,
so that's also what I'm here for, you know. And you know, from Gobi Cashmere to Torgo to Haute Couture, these are some of the best brands here in Mongolia, and you know, they catch everyone's eye. And so hopefully, you know, down the road in the future, we're able to speak with them and figure out how to put them on that stage and just get the light shining right on them.
Very nice. We have a limited time, and I will leave the last minute to you.
I believe in the Mongolian people. I believe in their capacity to create a brighter future for themselves. And I also believe in, like I said, partnership. And so there is the rest of the outside world that is looking into Mongolia and saying, we see potential, we see the capacity for creating something that's sustainable, self-sustainable, which is very important, because then you don't have to rely on outside resources, and that won't determine your future. And I think that's very important. So what I want to say is that, you know, work together, work with people that are looking to work with you, and be open-minded. Be open-minded to new forms of technology, new forms of new ideas, because that's the only way to push forward. It really is, and you have to innovate. This is the time for innovation. This is the time for technology. This is the time to evolve, and that's
open for
yes, definitely
evolution.
Yes, evolution, and I believe that we are on the verge of the next step of the Mongolian evolution.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much. And have fun in Mongolia.
Yes,
have very nice Nadam.
I will enjoy, and I hope to see you again in Nadam. Maybe, you know, while
let's meet during the opening.
Sounds great.
I will be there reporting.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for being with us. You're watching Today. We will see you on next Tuesday with more news and updates. You have a good one. Good Nadam festival. Bye-bye.